Thank you very much, Sarinka. That ends the evaluator roles for this time, and back to our Madam Toastmaster, Sonia.
Thank you, Tim, and your team of assistants for informing us of what your roles are. At this stage, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Toastmaster Marcano. She is going to be speaking from the Dynamic Leadership. I invite her evaluator, Toastmaster Nadia, to tell us a little bit about the objective of that presentation.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Her speech is entitled, "What is your code number?" And TM Marcano, you will have 4 to 6 minutes to let us know what is your code number. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Nadia. Toastmaster Ma, after 2 years of her first icebreaker speech, Marcano would like to share today's icebreaker with One Country, One World so that we can get to know her better from a holistic perspective, both personally and professionally. This is just the starting point of the new path she has decided to embark on, dynamic leadership. What is in your code, Marcano? Welcome, Ma.
Have you ever been asked, what is in your code number? Yes, what is in your code number? If so, what was your answer? If not, and this is your first time, what would your answer be? Most distinguished One Country, One World Toastmaster members and dear guests, rather than sharing today with you what is in my name, I'd like to unveil what is in my code number so that you get to know me a little bit better. Please, whenever you see this symbol, this icon here, feel free to share in the chat your guesses. What do you think is behind each number, behind those numbers I will be sharing with you? And I'll be revealing them one step at a time. Are you ready? Yeah, I can see those notes. Let's get started then with these first numbers. Any guesses? Let me tell you that in May 2019, I joined my first Toastmaster Club, 22nd Aruba Barcelona Toastmaster Club. Why did I join Toastmasters? Yeah, someone guessed. I wanted to become a successful learning facilitator and teacher's trainer. I wanted to make an impact within the educational field and communities, not only in my classrooms, but far beyond. I wanted to make a larger impact, and I wanted to share with those other educators to inspire them, who in turn could make an impact on the future agents of change. They are in contact direct every single day. From my experience as an educator with countless numbers of students since 2002, I have learned that knowing someone's origins and journey can help understand each person's life backpack and why we are the person we are. You might be wondering, who is Marcano? Any guesses for these numbers? Birthday, bingo, Sarinka. Yeah, I was born in a small town near Barcelona 2 days after Christmas in 1979. And if you do the maths, I'm 41 years old. Though many people tell me I look much younger. Let's continue guessing. What could be these numbers for? Let me tell you, whoops, not that quick, that although I grew up, not okay, let's see. I grew up in the coastal town of Badalona, but I've lived in 3 different countries up to now: Spain, England, and Colombia. And as a world traveler, I have been to 4 continents: Europe, North and South America, Africa, and Asia, and 22 countries. And I really hope I can visit many more. Shh, having traveled that much at my age, could that mean that I'm a secret 007 type of agent? What do you think? It just means that I have never been married yet. And I haven't got any children so far. But I count with 1 declared illness, endometriosis. We never know what life has prepared for us, don't we? I might have been very, very, very busy studying, working, and focusing on my professional development endlessly. And maybe, I was busy just getting my 2 degrees, 2 master's degrees, and 0 PhD, not yet, maybe in the near future, who knows? And something else that I would like to share with you. Thanks to my university studies, I could do 3 Erasmus programs, European exchanges with other universities, which allows me to move to the United Kingdom to do part of my studies, in particular to 3 different cities: London, Birmingham, and Manchester. There I started my experience as an international citizen of the world, with culturally just building and nurturing culturally diverse relationships. And here I am at OCAU today, keeping my culturally diverse spirit alive. But even if my name tag says I represent Spain, I believe I'm representing a unique citizen of the world, as I consider each of us, each of you are. At the end of the day, aren't we human beings made of a recollection of life experiences? Some we deliberately choose, some that may come unexpectedly. This is how, when putting them all together, we can create our authentic code number. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, have you shared part of what is in my code number? Now, what is in your code number? Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Sonia Monrose.
Thank you, Ma. That was a wonderful presentation, telling us about yourself by using your code number. Thank you very much. At this stage, we welcome our second speaker, Toastmaster Annie Lai.
Toastmaster, sorry to interrupt, but we do have the tourist of the day that I think got skipped over.
Oh, really? Why is not appearing here? Okay, so before we move on to the second speaker, let me welcome our tourist of the day. I think I saw Toastmaster Rosemary. You are the tourist of the day.
Yes, I am.
Welcome. Let's share with us your touring world.
Good morning and thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Let me share fix up my slide.
Come visit Dominica and welcome to Dominica. Dominica is a tiny island in the Caribbean and it is situated between two French countries or French territories, Guadeloupe and Martinique. And we are also known as the Nature Isle of the Caribbean. I want you to remember that we are an English-speaking Caribbean country and not a Spanish-speaking country like the Dominican Republic. So we are the Commonwealth of Dominica and not the Dominican Republic. So as a tourist, when you're going to sign up to come to Dominica, you're going to ask for the English-speaking country. We are fortunate to have two cities, Roseau and Portsmouth, although we are very small, we are tiny. In Roseau, you're going to see a lot of buildings, and it is a quaint little town because at one time we were owned by the French. And at Portsmouth, this was the first town during the colonial period, because at that time, I think they traveled only by boats. And so there is a natural harbor. You can see that harbor, it is natural, where your boats would be safe from hurricanes. And this was our first town. But because of malaria, the town was later transferred to Portsmouth, to Roseau. However, now we have lots of hotels. And when you come, this is one of the hotels you will be living at. Before we had lots of frogs, but now the frogs are an endangered species. So the hotel ensured that the frogs are not forgotten. You will see water spouting from their mouths when you go there. We have lots of rivers, lovely rivers, and this is a natural pool where you will enjoy the cold water. It also operates as a waterfall. It is called the Emerald Pool. You can go river tubing. And because you have life without limits, you will go canyoning. This is a photo of people canyoning, where you jump either in the river from a very high altitude, or you must take ropes to go down the side of the mountain to get to the bottom, to be in that river. Unlike the other Caribbean countries, we do not have white sandy beaches, but we boast of our lovely black sandy beaches. Because of our volcanic activity, our beaches, the sand on our beaches are black. There you will get the sun, the sea, and black sand, not white sand. And you will enjoy it. See the timer? In Dominica, we love to party. We are a set of people who are, at one point, it is said that we are the second happiest people in the world, and it was the first in the Caribbean. So we love to party. You have people who will be on stilts, enjoying themselves, or just in costume, enjoying themselves. And this happens during the first part of the year. Because we are a Catholic country mainly, this happens before Lent. However, if you do not have money to be in a costume, or you have not registered before you come on island, this will not stop you from enjoying yourself, because as you can see here, these are people and they are enjoying themselves in a carnival band without costume. Towards the latter part of the year, we have what is known as the Creole season, where people dress in madras. And it is also like a carnival time where we go and we have a nice time, we party and we enjoy ourselves. It is Creole because around that time, we are supposed to be speaking Creole. So we would say, Kumawiye, Ubo, Nadia will, and Sonia will know that. And we have a thriving market. We are an agricultural-based country. And so at our market, you will be taken to the market as a tourist, and you will see lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. This is what we love. And at one time, we had the most centenarians in the Caribbean. Only this week, there was this lady who celebrated her birthday at 106 years old. And yes, we love food. You get all type of lovely foods after going to the market. So you will not be hungry. You might just not have life without limits when eating, because this is Kalaloo, where you are supposed to enjoy the local dishes. Our Caribs, that's the first people on our island, this is how their houses used to be. These are the Caribs, but now we call them the Kalinago because we were misinformed and their original name is the Kalinago. They make handmade baskets. When you come, you could explore this. These baskets are weaved, but they are handmade. Welcome to our island, Dominica, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Rosemary, for sharing your island with us. In fact, Dominica is one of my favorite islands. I love the barbecue chicken and the barbecue ribs that you get on a Friday evening. So you're invited to Dominica. And in fact, if we are going to live our life without limits, let's do the canoeing that Rosemary spoke about, swinging down to the river from a rope or jumping from the top of the mountain. Beautiful. Now we move to our second presentation, and Toastmaster Annie is going to be the speaker. I invite her evaluator, past President Tunisia, to tell us a little bit about the project.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster Annie is about to deliver her project in level 3, strategic relationships. The purpose of this project is connect with the audience and present a speech on a topic that is new or unfamiliar to the club members to practice adapting during the presentation. Also, it should be adapt to the audience reaction to maintain the engagement. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, evaluator Tanisha. Toastmaster Annie Bai is our presentation star and winner of the virtual Toastmaster conference for online clubs with her delivery, Keep Moving, Stay Fit. She is the current president of our club, One Country, One World. Welcome to you, Toastmaster Annie, and let's hear what you have to share with us with niche of the day. Toastmaster Annie.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. In our One Country, One World Toastmaster Club, I met so many friends from all over the world. And from time to time, I would say to myself, wow, there are so many things I could learn from some of them and every one of them. Have you ever feel the same? If you do, give me a little thumb up. If you are given an opportunity to ask some of our members to teach you something that you are interested in learning, whom would you ask for? And what would you ask for? Are you thinking about it? Is there coming into your mind? You know, I need to learn about your answers. So I would invite everybody, please put into the chat in this format. Who and what do you want to learn? For example, I would say, Mar, I want to know how to create those dynamic visual aids for a speech. Or, Jean, how do we add diversified hand gestures on an online presentation? So, what do you want to learn? So in the chat, I could see Tim already says how to better evaluate. And Mar, yes, everyone, please put in your comments. Okay, when you are doing that, let me introduce you to your second scenario. Well, there are those moments I realize that I need to learn something new. Maybe it is related to public speaking, leadership skill, or those new technologies that are growing too fast for me to catch up. But I don't know who has the background on those, who could shed some light on me. What I wanted to do is to make a shout out to the group, and I'm sure someone among you would be able to help me. Do you ever feel the same? If you do, give me a little thumb up. So now I would like to invite every one of you to put something in the chat like this and tell us, what do you want to learn? For example, I want to learn how to promote an event in Facebook. I have never done that before. And I want to learn how to set up a podcast. Guess which project I'm struggling with? Okay, I'd like to see more answers. Please put into the chat. Let me bring you to the third scenario. Recently, I've been reading a book titled What Matters the Most? Do What Matters the Most, from which I learned quite a number of tips to set up effective goals in order to lead a life by design, not by default, and how to live with a good sense of control, direction, and purpose. Well, maybe that could be helpful for some of you. Therefore, I would love to share that with all of you. Do you ever feel the same? Sometimes you've learned something and have some new realization that you wanted to share with your friends. Well, in this situation, you could use a chance to talk about it too. Well, here is the good news. We are introducing, okay, sorry. You can tell us what you wanted to teach us to in the chat.
Yes, no, yes.
The good news is that we are introducing a brand new role to our meeting agenda. We decided to call it Niche of the Day. This is a new platform for everyone to step up, to speak about something related to the three scenarios that I just mentioned. Why do we come up with this new role? It's because you. Remember, we had our club discussion on July the 25th prior to our official meeting. From there, we collected quite a few great suggestions. I remember Rosemary said she wants to learn new skills, new technologies. I remember Jean said we should encourage our members to step up to do small workshops. And guess what? We executive team noted it down and created this new role. For this role, you could be either a requester or a speaker. As a requester, you tell us, especially our lovely VP of Education, about who you want to learn what, or simply what you are thinking of learning. And guess what? We as a team will do our best to make your dream come true. As a speaker, you could assign yourself to use this session to teach everyone else something you have learned or you have realized lately. It could be a small workshop style speech and later on can be developed into a longer version for you. Well, in order to make this little new role fit in, we need to change our agenda slightly. The current tourists of the day and the culture of the Day role will be combined into one. So starting from September, our meeting will be 3 featured sessions: the inspiration of the day, the tourist of the day, and the niche of the day. With putting this new change in place, we believe that it would give you infinitive power to support each other and grow together. Do you feel the same? If you do, give me a little thumb up. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Round of applause for Toastmaster Annie. Very exciting things coming to our club. You've heard the change. Inspiration Master of the Day, well, this will remain. Tourist of the Day combined with Culture Master and Niche of the Day. And I know that we have a lot to learn from the members in here. I've seen the use of technology and I am at zero with some of them. So wonderful. And I look forward to the excitement. Thank you for sharing that information with us, Madam President. At this stage, I would like to invite our topics master to conduct this segment, a very exciting segment, a very fun segment that all of us look forward to at every meeting. I invite Toastmaster Valerie to conduct this session. Toastmaster Valerie.
Good morning, good evening, good night to everybody. I'm so happy to be here today, and I am the table topics master for this meeting. I want to remind everybody to use the word of the day, infinitive, during the course of you answering your table topics question. So in the spirit of our meeting today, we have a wonderful topic, living life without limits. And I want to challenge you to be funny in your answers because I've picked humorous questions. We want to hear about your funny bone as you answer these questions. Now, we have several people here who already have roles. Is there anyone who does not want to participate in table topics so I don't call on you? Looks like everybody doesn't mind. All right, fantastic. How many questions can I ask? As many as I want?
Valerie, I think that Tim Wilson and Sonia will be able to guide you with time as you get into it.
Okay.
Thank you.
That works for me. Okay. All right, let's see. Who will be the first victim of this? Let's see. Who should I call on? I am going to call on Toastmaster Tim. Not Tim Wilson, Tim Blackburn. Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. What if you were a professional wrestler? What would be your character and what would be your theme song?
Well, I grew up in the era of Rocky. And so I would think, and also grew up with the time of Queen. So I think my theme music would "I Will Rock You" by Queen. So I think that would be my theme song. And I would probably, I'm not sure if you saw Queen when they did the World Famine songs. I'll be dressing up in spandex and probably a strap. So I'll probably be topless. So I'll probably scare a lot of people, but that's the point of wrestling, isn't it? I want to scare my opposition away so they get flattened by the shock and horror of seeing my bare chest. So I think shock and horror with a theme song of "We Will Rock You" in the background. It's gonna shake this audience. They'll be gonna, the audience will be in a fit of laughter from the shock and horror. From the time they get up, I would have won the wrestling match because my opponent cannot stand the sight of my godly, shapely, spare-chested bodies. So I would go rock you, and I'll wear spandex while I'll shock and awe the audience. How infinitive that would be.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you. Wendy. I have a question for Wendy. What recent trend, it could be a trend in the news or trend in pop culture, what recent trend are you totally invested in?
Hi, I'm Wendy. Is it me?
Absolutely, Wendy.
Oh, hi, how are you? But this is my first time to join this online Toastmaster meeting. I was invited by Annie, so can I just skip this part?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
sorry.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Just sit back and enjoy. No problems at all.
Sure. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very enjoyed to listening to those prepared speech. Yeah, and probably I will participate later. Thank you very much.
No problems at all. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Tanisha, what is the best or the worst advice that you have ever received?
We all need advices from from our birthday and up to now. Most of the time what we receive are advices. If I remember about an advice that I received, actually at the moment I couldn't remind any advice. So but I can give you an advice that is when you're participating for table topics, be prepared, and then be prepared with some stories, then it will be easy for you to continue your table topic. And back to you, table topic master.
Thank you so much, Tanisha. Thank you. I think this is the most that I've seen you smile. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Okay. The next candidate for table topics is Jean. Jean, what recent activity have you done that you're particularly proud of?
Madam Table Topics Master, my brain is going, what on earth have you been doing? Why can't you think of anything apart from the walks you go for with the dog? What have I been doing? I think I'm going to have to tell you about the dog. Today, I was walking the dog, and I was excited about this because I've started to reflect on the things that I photograph and the things that I say that are not just noticing something and writing about something, but shows a deeper process going on. And this morning, as I was walking down almost like a corridor between different different plants and trees. Off in the distance, I heard geese. And I've learned that this sound of many geese is the sound of these geese coming somewhere near me. And as I really paid attention, I realized if I was just calm and waited, they were going to come straight over my head. So I took out my camera, and what I normally do is I go, isn't it amazing? There's a whole load of geese. And then I remember when they're gone that the geese are photographable. But this time I waited with my camera and I took a few pictures as they were coming and as they went overhead. And I was really excited about the fact, it's a bit sad maybe, but I was quite excited about the fact that I actually got a halfway decent photograph of these geese going above my head, almost in a line that matched the shape of the trees around me. So I'm filled with joy about the fact that I found a new way to just be patient and wait for the picture to come to me. And I also thought, you know what? Why did I take a whole load of photographs when I could have pressed an ever so slightly different button and I could have videoed them flying over me? So I guess what I really love about this is that I am learning something, in that my practice is developing in the moment, and also that there is more to learn. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you. What a wonderful story. All right. Sharina, the next question is for you. You are a late night talk show host. Who would you invite as your very first guest?
I assume it's me, Valerie.
It is you.
Dominica.
It is you.
I am hosting a late night talk show. Who will I invite? First of all, I have to confess that late night suits me best. I love anything midnight, after midnight. Why? Because everybody in my house is asleep. And then I have the house all to myself. It's quiet and everything now is online, and I can just sit back and host my talk show. Who will I invite in my very first session of the talk show? Now, first of all, I need to define what my talk show is going to be about. And from there on, I can invite the person that fits my talk. And thinking quickly, what are themes, topics, and ideas that I love? I love things about changing, either fast changing, slow changing, anything that has to do with change. So I'll be inviting people that are gurus on changing new things. Although new things can scare us, never sit back. Always grab an opportunity for new things. And lately I've been listening a lot to Oprah over her ideas of how she sees things. So I'll try to invite her as the first person to come and we can have a chat. Oprah Winfrey and I. Back to you, Valerie.
Thank you so much for such an interesting answer. I tell you, I would certainly tune in for that program. Thank you. Okay.
Madam Topics Master, that's going to be your last question, please.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, Sonia, you're on the spot. What food does everybody love but you hate?
That's a very interesting question, Madam Topics Master. Because I'm a lover of food, and it's not likely that you'll find me disliking any kind of food. I remember a few years ago when I went to study in Trinidad, I struggled a little bit with the food because of the change in the culture. Their food was spicy, and they used a herb that we use as medicine in St. Lucia. So it was a struggle for me to adapt to that new taste. But after a few weeks, I love the food. Up to now, if I am traveling and I have in transit through Trinidad, I stay over just to get the food. So it's not likely that you'll get me hating any food. The only thing I know I don't like are two vegetables. Broccoli, I don't like steamed broccoli. I don't like steamed cauliflower either. I struggle with these two, but I will still consume them. I will take a little bite, or I will use the broccoli raw. The cauliflower I hardly purchase. And I think the zucchini is another one I am still struggling with, because steam it is too soggy, use it raw, I can't take too much of it. But other than that, I'm a lover of food, and wherever I travel to, I always sample the new things. I take back whatever I can back home to continue enjoying what I have savored. And so when it comes to food, I go all out, and I love to try new things at home. I mean, these days, because of the weight and the age coming up, I try not to do too much cooking. But other than that, once I eat something, I figure out what the ingredients are and go back home and see that whether I can make that very same dish. So that's me. Once you're going to be cooking, invite me over. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for a great answer. At this time, I'd like to turn it back over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Topics Master. Very exciting segment. I must say, a round of applause to you and the members who participated. And we got from them that there's always something new to learn. And definitely I can say that. And always grab an opportunity for change. Yes, I know we resist change, but we must always grab an opportunity for change. There's always something positive in it. We come down to another very exciting segment, one that leaves us with tremendous food for thought that can help us improve as much as possible. And so we are now at our guest speaker segment. I see she joined us very early today. Toastmaster, I'm saying Toastmaster, I'm assuming she's a Toastmaster, Letitia, but Joan will tell us a little bit more about her. I invite Toastmaster Joan to introduce our guest speaker for today.
Thank you so much, Sonia. I really appreciate that. And I'm so delighted to introduce our guest speaker today, Letitia Bates. Let me get you better acquainted with Letitia. She is a DTM from District 66 here in the Commonwealth of Virginia in the United States. She's a mindset and empowerment coach, a master EFT tapping practitioner, and an award-winning speaker. She has a #1 best-selling book on Amazon as the author of I Can, 12 Keys to Achieve Personal Success in the Smartest Way. She is the owner of At the Wheel Coaching, which is a trauma-informed coaching practice. To share as a kickoff into the 2021 International Toastmasters Convention, her talk right now, One Smile at a Time, please help me welcome guest speaker, Letitia Bates.
I'm smiling at you. The smile is a universal facial expression. It portrays our heart, our thoughts, our excitement, and it has healing power. It can lift, it can empower, and yes, it can heal. Babies seem to know that smiling is where the party is. They come in doing it naturally. Travel all the way back with me to around 1972, my birth year. And my grandmother would look at me, according to my mother, and say, "This child smiles all the time." And when I think about my childhood pictures, there are pictures of me smiling, smiling, smiling all the time. Before I could speak, I was smiling. Before I could sing, I was smiling. Before I could talk, I was smiling. And so are all of you, because that is the natural state. The natural state of well-being is outpictured with a smile. Whether I had teeth or not, I was still smiling. I just intrinsically knew to do that. As a little girl, I remember the day that I was walking outside of Kmart and I saw this woman in this beautiful purple dress with flowers all over it. And I went right up to her and I looked at her and I smiled and I said, "I like your dress." And I remember watching her face totally expand in a smile. When I stepped back into my mother's presence, she said, "What did you do?" And I thought, I made her smile. And that's what I told my mother. And after that, I started going up to people when I saw something that they were wearing or something nice that they did. And I would say something because I wanted to see them smile. I love the feeling that it gave me and the feeling that it gave to others. I learned that just by smiling, I could help uplift people. And that is what I continue to do. That feeling of helping other people be lifted up through a simple universal act, just one smile at a time. You fast forward to a moment when I was in high school. I was really struggling. I had a lot of things going on in my personal life. And it was just challenging sometimes just getting to school. But I had a teacher, an English teacher, Miss Stovall. And whenever I would walk into her classroom, guess what she would greet me with? A big smile. She knew that I was struggling. She knew how challenging some of the things in my life were. And in some ways, my grades reflected poorly because of what was going on. But she never stopped smiling. So I never gave up. I kept trying. So what I found in that experience is that her smile empowered me. So I know that smiling can help uplift. And because of her smiling at me, it can empower. But what I didn't know until really recently was how healing a smile could be. I want you to walk back with me to March of 2020. I was in my office. I'd gone there on a Saturday just to pick up a couple of things. And I saw this woman in the elevator. And she had never seen me in the building before. It was on a Saturday. And I went to introduce myself. I smiled and I reached my hand out to shake her hand. And she took 3 steps back from me. And she said the word social distance. And it was the first time I'd heard the word. Things were happening, as you all know, but we had no idea what was about to befall us. So she accepted my smile, but not my hand. I shrugged it off and I just said, okay. I stepped off the elevator. I got into my car and I did not understand that that would be the last time that I would actually see people smile for a very long time. You see, these things were introduced. And suddenly, my ability to smile changed. for months. Months and months. This is what smiles look like. Your face was covered. And the ability to simply let that heart feeling just spread across your face was taken. So I had to change the game. I'm a smiler. And I started trying to do it with my eyes. So I would see people in the store. And it looked a little crazy, but I was committed to helping the world with my smile in the way that I could. Sometimes I'd be across the store and the only thing I could do was just wave really heartily with my mask on because they couldn't see my eyes. But with the state of everything that we had been through last year in the world, I thought the thing we needed most was healing. I knew a smile could uplift, and I knew a smile could empower. But what we were in need of was the healing. And I couldn't do it with my face. And sometimes I couldn't do it with my eyes. I could only do it with my hands. But I was always doing it with my heart. When I think about the things that are going on, even still, with the pandemic, with the world challenges, with the earthquake, with what's happening in Afghanistan, and all of the other troubles of the world that we may never hear about, I know that we individually can help each other one smile at a time. It is a universal power. It is a superpower. And since we don't have to have masks on in this moment, I want to invite you to join me in a smile. So I'm going to count to 3. And once I do that, I want a big smile on everybody's face. Are you in with me? Yes? All right. 1, 2, 3, and smile. And hold it. And feel how good it feels inside of you. And know how powerful it is, the gift that you're giving to all of us. The gift that you can give to those that are around you. You can relax your face. How do we get to the bigger picture? How do we solve the things that ail us? We can do it one smile at a time. We know that smiling uplifts people. We know that smiling empowers people. And we know that smiling can heal people. That's your power. That is how you do it with everybody that you come in contact with. If you can't do it with your face, do it with your eyes. If you can't do it with your eyes, do it with your hand. But always do it from your heart. And let's be conscious of that. Let's know how powerful we are in that. And let's go about the business of healing this world one smile at a time. Madam Toastmaster.
Round of applause for our guest speaker. Very inspiring presentation this morning. Thank you so much for having us smile and help us to remember to uplift each other, to empower each other, to heal each other, one smile at a time. And as we know, now we are wearing the mask, but when we are not, let us just use the smile and uplift each other. Thank you so much for this great presentation. I'm sure it brought healing to all of us. I now invite our general evaluator, Tim Wilson, to conduct the evaluation segment. Thank you.
This is my favorite part of the meeting, quite frankly. There are many reasons people join Toastmasters. Some of them will say, I want to become a president or I want to become a director, but most of them are probably going to say, I want to build and develop my speaking. And so some people, they get a Toastmaster, well, what's the value of Toastmasters? What does Toastmasters help you do? And some people say, well, it gives you a place to speak. But quite frankly, you don't need Toastmasters for a place to speak. You can do it in a street corner. You can shout in the middle of a field. You can go running down the street and just speak all you want. Heck, there are a lot of people that do it at subways. They speak all the time. But if you want to be listened to, if you want to be paid attention to, if you want to change the world, build, develop, and grow the world and help people, you need to speak effectively. So how do you do that? Well, speaking isn't enough. You need to get either an opinion or feedback. Opinion is somebody saying, I think this works. Feedback is saying something, I know this works. This works for professionals. It'll work for you. You see, the evaluation completes the speech. The evaluation completes the speech. You give the speech, you're not quite sure how it went. When you get the evaluation, you have an idea. And then from that idea, you can say, well, yeah, I like that idea, or I don't like that idea. Pick out the ideas you like, either re-give the same speech using those ideas, or what you can do is you can give a different speech, but incorporate those ideas to it. So the evaluation completes the speech. And that's why, to me, this is the most important part of the meeting, the evaluation portion. So to complete our first speech is our first evaluator, Nadia. Nadia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. G.E. I joined Toastmaster to improve my English. So it was a pleasure for me to evaluate TM Marcano. TM Marcano, what a wonderful and interactive presentation. I love it. And you began ask us to answer in the chat, to guess some codes. Thanks. You began tell us to participate. So it was very interesting. It was a great idea to create your codes with important dates of your life. What I learned you born in 1979, 2 days after Christmas. I thought you was a great gift for your parents. What I learned also, you share with us some photo, some pictures. You became into a Toastmaster member in May 29. Your first club was Barcelona Toastmaster Club. You lived in different countries. You like to travel. Why? You visited 22 countries. Thanks to Erasmus program, you discover at different universities. I learned also you got an illness. Your speech was very structured with an opening, a body, and a conclusion. Your language was clear. You used vocal variety very well. Good eye contact. Your gesture, it was very adapted. You keep our attention with your presentation because we look to you and we have to answer. You are comfortable with the audience and you fully engage an audience with exemplary, well-construed content. What I want to conclude, you ask us to create our own code numbers. Continue to be an infinitive busy bee. Back to you, Mr. G.
Thank you very much, Nadia. And now to give their thoughts and opinions on the second speech, Tanusha.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. What a wonderful speech it was, Annie. And I'm really happy to be the evaluator of that speech. Niche of the day, another wonderful initiative suggested by you. In your speech, I really love the way you engage with the audience. It's a part of your speech objectives. And you time to time ask various questions and engage with the audience, asking them to give you a thumbs up, asking them you to type in the chat. So you tried different alternatives to engage with the audience. So that's really nice. And also you had some authenticity in your speech as you share some of your personal experience which you found by reading a book. And also you had a good structure. You clearly explained why do we need this role? Because we have different skills and we can learn from each other. And then you explain what do we need to do? You can be a requester or an educator. And then you explain how we can do. Then you suggest we can allocate 2 to 3 minutes and contact your VPE. So that was clearly mentioned by you about this role, and it was very creative idea, and I love that idea. For you to improve this, I would like to recommend if you could, since we saw you in a small portion of our stream, if you could arrange the view so we would be able to see more gestures. So as a summary, you did a wonderful speech, and it was relevant to the audience. You had authenticity and you had a good structure, and it was very creative. And congratulations for bringing some wonderful roles, because at One Country, One World, we bring more diversified roles. So congratulations on that, and back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Tanusha. And now to close out evaluations, our topics evaluator, Jean.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, it's my pleasure to evaluate table topics. I'm going to give some feedback to our table topics master, as well as to the individual speakers. Valerie, thank you for a really engaging session. You embraced the topic of our day. And I really like the fact that you asked us to look for some humor. So you weren't just asking for topics is in content, you were also asking for something in terms of the manner of it. My tip is to reveal the question before you reveal who you want to answer the question. The reason I say that is that when we don't know if we're going to be asked, there is something going on in all of our minds as we calculate what we will do if we get asked. So we almost all get to do each table topic in a very brief way until we know that it may not be us. So that's my tip. Overall, a really engaging session. We started off with Tim, who took the humor invitation seriously. I just loved the whole spandex, topless, bare-chested fella out there with "We Will Rock You." I thought you really brought it to life. My tip is that at the beginning, I think you were still working out your answer. So you started off with Rocky, and then you went to Queen. And I could see the shifting of your mind. And I wonder whether, I wonder what happened in all of that, and whether there was an opportunity to go with whatever went on in your head first to give us that smooth ride. But I have to admit, I quite like the "We Will Rock You." Anyway, so just, I think, a suggestion for all of us to try and ride the wave of what comes first, as long as what comes first isn't too dangerous. The next speaker was Tanusha, and Tanusha was asked a question about, you know, what to do whenever he received advice. And I thought, Tanusha, you did a great job of handling a question that you didn't quite know how to handle, and you made it your question. So instead of you receiving advice, you gave advice, which was great. And I have to admit, I had an enormous pleasure of what I think was the beginnings of a fit of giggles, because you couldn't work out what to say. Could be wrong, but that's what I decided what was going on, and I enjoyed that immensely. My tip might be to stay a little bit closer with the topic. Maybe you could have thought about what advice you'd like, which would have been like receiving advice, except you haven't had it yet. But that's just a suggestion on how to cope with a topic that you don't know what to do yet, which is ironic, because then I was next, and rather than going with my first thought, I dissembled and thought about all the things that I really wish I could have talked about, and then I got on with it anyway. So the advice that I thought of for everybody before me, I managed to play out in my own topic. So that's great. That was a demonstration for everyone, offered proactively, obviously. Then we had Sarinka, lovely repeating of the question. And I love the flow of this. Again, you weren't quite sure how to handle this question. No, I think none of us, including you, knew who was going to turn up for your interview. But you brought us through this thing of change, and then, okay, who knows? I'm thinking, is she going to tell us somebody who's good at change? And then she did. She gave us Oprah, and there was just something really lovely about Oprah and I at the end. I was really confident I wanted to go along to that. So my suggestion might be, again, we're into this thing of, you know, how do we handle these topics that we don't quite know the answer to? I felt that perhaps you could have gotten into our change trail a bit quicker, because you know, very luxuriously and elegantly repeated the question. Maybe you could have brought us in a bit quicker, but it was all very smooth, and anybody other than a Toastmaster would have thought that was amazing how she came up with that so quick. That's the beauty of Toastmasters, that we can see it all, we can see the minds working. And then we had Sonia with the food, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh yeah, I can talk a lot about the foods that everybody likes wrongly in my world. There's a slightly different challenge for you to come up to find something, and you did. You came up with the spicy food and then the zucchini, and I particularly like the description of the zucchini, this soggy raw thing that, you know, even if you love zucchini, you made it sound pretty awful. So you could feel that ness of it. And I was particularly glad to see it, because I would have really loved for you to have evoked that kind of same kind of almost physical feeling when you talked about the spicy food, you know, describing it, the taste of it on your tongue, you know, what does it feel like in your body to have this really hot food, to kind of really bring it to life. So there we go, a whole load of really brilliant topics, beautifully brought together by Valerie. Thank you very much.
And now we go into the reports. And the first report will be Noosh with the timing report.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Since time is precious community, not infinitive. So we need to report on our time spent. And we have a few that exceed little wee bit of time limits, but also a few too that below the time limit. But otherwise, all the rest within time frame. The one who exceed is Daviana, a little bit, Ma, and Rosemary. The one who below the time limit is Tim Blackbird and Kinusha. Otherwise, you did a good job, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Nush. And moving on to the person who's helping us out now, Joan with the counter.
Thank you so much. It seems like there was a limitless supply of Oz today in our conversation, and let me share with you some of the tallies that I came up with in hearing our speakers today. In our first speaker, Mar, what a fantastic talk on codes. She had 2 Oz. Sonia had 1 aw. Our second speaker, Annie, had just a repeater from what I learned. And then Tim Blackburn was adorable in his transformation from Rocky to Queen to the gym guy. He had 2 repeaters, there's there, and so. Tanusha, and I agree with Jean, I love the turn the tables on what advice did you receive? Now I'm going to give you some advice. That was delightful. There were a few Oz there of note, particularly at the beginning. But once he got a roll, then it was good. Jean, there were 2 Oz for you and 1 so. And I believe that wraps up my report for the counter. Tim?
Thank you very much, Joan. And to finish off the reports is our grammarian, Sarinka.
Thank you, Tim. My role today was the grammarian, to listen carefully for beautiful use of language, or perhaps give some suggestion where we could have used the English language better. I have to confess, I took this role this morning with trembling hands and bouncing hard, because English is not my native language, and I normally do not accept any role that has the word grammarian in it, because what can I say to native English speakers? So let me start with the use of the word of the day. Infinitive was used by Tim B, Annie, Valerie, Nush, and Joan. And Rosemary had a nice, interesting use of the theme and the word of the day together, life without limits. Some suggestions, minor things I picked here and there. Dynamic leader was used in a way that if we have added the word path to it, it was a complete sentence. Dynamic leadership path. I have heard promotion in Facebook. I would say use promote on Facebook, may sound better. And then I was a little confused by this sentence. Who you want to learn and when. And I thought maybe the message there was, who do you wish to teach, or what do you want to teach us and when? Someone used the word your course. We could have used your presentation or your talk. I couldn't remind. Maybe we can use I couldn't recall, I couldn't remember. There were some pronunciations like vocal variety. I cannot recall how the person pronounced it, but variety maybe is the better way of pronouncing that word. Alternatives, just to mention some. We had beautiful use of language. I loved when Mar, our international world citizen, said, future agents of change, our life backpack. Rosemary, everybody picked on her on that as well. The second happiest people in the world. I was also wondering who are the first. Tim B. Oh, lovely and descriptive words. Fled him by horror and shock. and godly, sharply, fair chest and body. Interesting use of triads. Jean, practicing developing in the moment. We calculate in our heads and how we are going to deal with a topic, quite right. And she mentioned a lot of the descriptive words that our Toastmaster of the meeting, Sonia, used in her table topics. Tim W., the evaluation completes the speech. I thought also right, indeed. And Leticia, face expands in a smile. I totally agree with that. Our faces expands in a smile. All by all, we all use our English language very well, in my humble opinion, including myself. There are always room for improvement, but that's why we are here. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you very much, Sarinka. And I will close out with an overview of the meeting. First of all, to start out, we had Tim Blackburn, or as he's often known around here as the man with the sparkly pants. Great useful suggestions you had about how the meeting goes. And our presiding officer was Annie, great high energy, which is wonderful. And the Toastmaster, Sonia, introduced the meeting theme. However, you missed the tourist of the day. If you're the Toastmaster, make sure you review the entire agenda beforehand to make sure you have the sense of where everything comes. The agenda is very clear about laying that out. It's easy to miss things, but if you just get in the habit of kind of scanning the agenda through, all the way through, that won't happen. Our inspirational master was Stavriana, who had a guided meditation, which is great. She told us to open your eyes. This is something many people forget. The close the eyes people do quite often in speeches, but quite often people forget to open the eyes. And these speeches, you'll find people kind of like figuring out, do I open my eyes now? Don't I? 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then people really end up hating the speaker because they basically made them blind for about 20 minutes of speech. So remember, if you say close your eyes, you have to say open your eyes. Went a little bit over time. And I think the challenge, Stariana, is to really be exactly on time, especially in something like this, which I think is a time limit of 3 minutes, because that's really a focus. Can you get your point across in exactly 3 minutes? Challenge yourself to do that. If you're a professional event, they say 3 minutes, they will stop you at 3 minutes. If it's on a Zoom call, you're not going any further. So they'll miss out on stuff. So think about that. Our timer Nooch was always great, putting times in chat and getting an overview of the overtime. So instead of just saying, repeating all the times, here are the people overtime. Those are, of course, the people who have to kind of work on their timing. Really good to know that. Our counter is Joan. Thanks again, Joan, for stepping in and helping out. And you did a really good job with the counter. You let me know also how much time is left for table topics. And I passed this on to the table topics master. So that's really helpful. Even though it wasn't exactly your role, it's really useful to me. And if you do something like that, you're supporting someone in a supporting role, and they say, well, so much time is left, feel free to just send that information along, even if you're not the one supposed to do it, because that helps things roll on. And then the Toastmaster got it. We were able to keep things relatively on time. Grammarian with Sarinka. Thanks again, Sarinka, for helping us out. We asked you to help us out. You really did. Fantastic. Very helpful grammar tips and sharing of interesting phrases. You're the grammarian, think about that. Not only the English grammar type of thing, which if you're in the US, is kind of depends upon where you are. It's not as big a deal, but interesting phrases are great because people then can use them in future speeches. Our tourist of the day was Rosemary, and it was like an advertisement for Dominica, which makes people want to visit it. But I would suggest, Rosemary, you mention the name more often. Quite often I was going through the speech, I kept thinking, where is this? Where is this? I didn't know. The country, our country, my country. What country is it? I didn't know. And that created a challenge in my head. So I listened really closely. I hope I got it right because I only heard it once. I missed the beginning a little bit and only heard at the end. So I'm thinking it's Dominica. If I'm wrong, correct me. Our first speaker was Mar, as always, Mar. Fantastic creative visuals. You are known for visuals. Every time you do something a little bit different, every time you say, oh, you think that one last one was good, and you learn those techniques, ha, I got a better one for you. And then laying it aside, we're like, wow, I got to do that. Fantastic, Mar, great. Annie, wonderful idea. Niche of the day, a great learning opportunity and really showing you're thinking about how you can build, develop, and grow OCal going forward. That's really helpful. Our table topics master was Valerie. Reminded us to use the word of the day, which is great because the word of the day tends to kind of fall by the wayside. Not that many people use it, and reminding us to use it is great. You challenge us to use humor. Humor is a wonderful thing to challenge people because humor only has one appropriate response. I know people will say, oh, well, maybe they're laughing inside. Doesn't matter. Humor, if they're not laughing, it probably wasn't humorous. If they are laughing, it's humorous. If they aren't laughing, it wasn't humorous. So humor gives you instant feedback from the audience. Did I do it? Didn't I do it? It terrifies people. But if you challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone, sometimes you'll get, as we know from Letitia Bates, a smile, and you'll make that whole person's day. So even if you fall on your face and get that chance of giving people a smile, that's great. I got a minor bug to kind of pick. You mentioned Tim. Now I mentioned you always use the last names in case of a duplicate first name. Now this has been a challenge my entire life, so it's particularly a peeve to me. My name is Tim. Tim's a very common name. My entire life has been basically saying, hey, Tim. No, not you, the important Tim behind you. It's like, so if I hear Tim, I'm like, Lee, no, not you. Come on. Tim Blackburn, really, just hold it down, guy. Come on, the Tim, all right? Mention people's last names just so they know what's going on. We don't have this weird game of trying to outshout each other over Zoom. Our guest speaker was, and thank you for calling in the guest too. That was great for Valerie. Our guest speaker was Letitia with Smile Power. And here's something I don't think Letitia mentioned, but it can be really helpful to you. Force yourself when you get up in the morning to smile. You won't want to do it. You won't like to do it. But if you do that, you will simply be happier. You'll feel happier the whole day. Every time you get a chance, force yourself to smile. And after a while, it'll become natural and you'll just feel better. Before I get to the evaluator's goal, I'll mention how I evaluate evaluators. Being an evaluator myself and loving the evaluation role, I think the evaluator's challenge is to always give the speaker something they can do better. Because after all, face it, if everything you're doing is perfect, you don't need an evaluator. I mean, it's great to have people applaud, but you can do that in the mirror, right? You can stand in the mirror and say, oh, that was an awesome job I did. You don't need an evaluator for that. So what can they do better? So our first evaluator is Nadia, and you get kind of a review of the speech, which is okay. But Nadia, think about challenging yourselves. What can the speaker do better? How can the speaker improve? That's the real challenge the evaluator role, finding those areas for improvement. Our second evaluator is Tanusha. You had to review the speech. Also, you did have an improvement suggestion. I was listening closely and trying to figure out, I think you only really had one. And again, challenge yourself to give more points for improvement. And then I close out with the table topics evaluator, which is Jean. Now, Jean had many improvement suggestions. For each person, she found something really that can develop and grow their speech. And the challenge in table topics is you're just doing it off the top of your head. So maybe you can't really incorporate this in table topics. But boy, some of the suggestions you had, Jean, you certainly can use in speeches. So if you got the time to plan, got the time to prepare, and you heard what Jean's comment is, think about taking some of those comments, putting it into a speech you're building, developing, and growing. And that can be really, really useful. So many improvement suggestions. That was great. So that's my general evaluation, but I can't close without mentioning the general evaluator. I mean, great job. It was a pleasure to work with this man. He had a real grasp and easily handled the pressures and responsibilities. A real icon in the evaluator world. Just a great experience. Mr. General Evaluator, again, fantastic job. All right, and now I turn it back to our Toastmaster.
Indeed, Tim Wilson, a fantastic job. Thank you for this very comprehensive report, both you and your team members. So we look forward to hearing from you. I always love your evaluations. Great job. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, it was a pleasure today serving as your Toastmaster of the day. I must say it was a very interesting, very informative, uplifting meeting. And I want to encourage you to continue living your life without any limits. Do not allow obstacles to prevent you from achieving your dreams. And I saw this very interesting quote that I want to leave with you. When someone tells you you can't do it, when someone tells you it can't be done, it is more a reflection of their limitation, not yours. So do not allow people to tell you that it can't be done. Just go ahead and take the first step. Thank you very much for this opportunity to serve as Toastmaster of the Day. I now return control to our President, Madam Annie Bai. Toastmaster Annie.
Thank you, Sonia. I'm still immersed myself in this big amount of fun coming out of this meeting. You know, at the beginning, we kickstarted with the Kahoot from John, our VP of Education. At that time, we didn't have all our members there. I was thinking, oh my God, where are my members? But now I'm proved again, everyone from our club is absolutely awesome. I'm so inspired by all of your performance. Well, one little thing is I would like to invite all of you to join a little bit earlier than the meeting. There's a lot of great things happening prior to the meeting, and also we can ensure that all the role takers are present and ready for our meetings. Our guest speaker, Letitia, great job on teaching us how to smile, the importance of smiling again. I enjoy the moment that we smile together, almost like we feel so close together again. Like we should do a picture together when we have the biggest smile on our face. Our Zoom master take that and maybe capture a few pictures there. And not only that, we can smile with our gestures. This, like when Jean was talking, I was just watching her, how many hand gestures that she could put into one short table topic evaluation. And today, obviously, I was surprised by Tim Wilson. I was like, oh, who is this guy? He's like pop up from like the old team and becomes such a fun-filled characters for our club. So thank you for your wonderful performance there. So for our guests today, I'd like to have a chance to hear your feedback. I hope you enjoy our meeting. And by the way, if you're interested on joining our future meeting or becoming a member, Nush, our timer, is the lady that you need to talk to. She will be here, wait for you if you need to talk to her after the meeting. But just so you know, our guests, if you are the first time joining our meeting, this is a globalized club. We have members from 25 different countries. We are sitting on our different cultures and histories and language and experience in Toastmaster as well. And it's a great opportunity for you to come here to learn about countries, cultures, peoples in a different level. So you are very welcome to join us. Let me just call you out to give your little feedback to our meeting. Starting from maybe, do we still have our guest, Claudette? Claudette? Apologize if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Claudette, you there? Okay, let's move on to Daria. Daria, are you there? Daria, right? Oh, so quiet. Wendy, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
What's your feedback about our meeting? If you could turn
Oh,
on the
hi.
video. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much to invite me to join this online meeting. It's fantastic. Yeah, definitely. This is an international Toastmaster. I can see many people from Thailand, right? And Jamaica, US. I'm from China. Yes. Hello, everyone. I used to live in Toronto for 5 years, but I returned back to China 3 years ago. So I hope I can. Yeah, I wish I will join the meet. I will join your next meeting. I think it's 2 weeks later. Wonderful meeting. Thank you very much. Yeah, hope to see you all next time.
Thank you so much, Wendy, for joining us. We definitely need someone representing China here. So come back to our next meeting. And every other members, if you could invite someone from different countries, we'd love to have them. Any other?
Daria's here.
Dara.
I wanted to say hi to everybody very quickly and thank you for allowing me to join. Coming from Barbados, it's really lovely to see people from everywhere on a Sunday morning. I was actually intending to join you months ago, but I could never get the Sunday right. So I'm happy that I got it done this morning.
Fantastic. It's great to have you, Dara. And if you could remember, she was the one compete with me in the webinar contest. And that's where we get to know each other. So if you wanted to come back to the next meeting, I would love to have you as a member as well, if you could consider that.
Thank you, Annie.
Okay, do we have any other guests? Oh, okay, let's move on. Talking about next meeting is gonna be another fantastic meeting for all of you. And guess who would be our Toastmaster of the day? It's none other than Jean. Jean, do you like to talk about it?
Hello, everyone. I'm looking forward to a very exciting session on the 12th of September. We have a special guest who is no less than our past international president, Jim Kakachi, and he is going to speak about, the choices that he made and his journey to growth as he took that amazing path. So our theme of the meeting will be our journeys of growth. So far, we have Morag, who will be the inspirational speaker. We have a couple of speakers lined up and lots of roles to be done. I think we're going to have a really brilliant session, and it's going to be even more brilliant when you go onto the website and say that you're going to come. You can click on that link there and sign up for roles. It would be really, really great to have a really full, energized meeting on the go for us on the 12th of September.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jean. Make sure you sign up. And let's move on to our guest again. We have a very important guest speaker. We'd like to hear from her as well. Letitia, do you want to say a few words for us?
Well, I think this has been an awesome experience. It's just been so wonderful just to see people, smiling faces from all over the world. It's awesome. I'm grateful to be here this morning, and thank you for the warm welcome and the kind words.
Thank you. We remember your message. We're going to smile with our heart all the time. And we have also Masila.
Hello. Well, it's morning here in my part of the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I am Marcella, Toastmaster Marcella Santoma from St. Lucia in the Caribbean. And I must say that I totally enjoyed the meeting. I loved the speech from Letitia, the guest speaker. Wonderful, always happy, and always a good gesture to smile. It's very important. I love that speech very well. And I enjoyed the meeting. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I also love the speech by the Toastmaster of the day with all the carnivals and things, because I am also a reveler back home and I jump carnival every day, but right now we cannot do it anymore as a result of COVID. So I miss the carnival. So I really enjoyed this speech this morning. Wonderful. I learned quite a lot. And I was invited by Toastmaster DTM Sonia Monrose. Thanks for inviting me, and I'll be back again. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning or day. And I would like to have you back and be part of us if you think that would be an opportunity there. And I would like to also point out, after Jean has already inspired on our next meeting's keynote speaker, we're going to have a little workshop from our member, Shamila. She's going to talk about accredited speaker. What's the journey to go there? Is tied up with our theme very well. So if you're interested to that topic, please make sure you come on time and to listen to that workshop as well. And after September the 12th, on to September the 26th, which is the second meeting of the month, we will have a speechathon. So I know you're not very active on doing speeches, but this is the time for you to book your slot. You're gonna have to do it. See, Mar has inspired us on using visual aids and all kinds of creativity there, and you can do it too. And please sign up for that role. The organizer for that meeting will be Paul Mohani. if you want to be on that slot to do a speech, make sure you book your time there with him. Send a quick note to him. Okay, so that's everything I need to cover. Anything else that I missed, my executives?
I just want to point out that we have 2 meetings a month, and sometimes they're bi-monthly, every other week. This will be 3 weeks from today's date to our September 12th meeting. So sometimes those 52 weeks work out really, really well, and sometimes we have another Sunday in there. So we will see everyone 3 Sundays from now on September 12th. However, don't delay. Jean and Wendy, who will serve as general evaluator, are all about getting it organized ahead of time so they can take a look at Rosemary's slides again and enjoy all the festivities and food, no broccoli, but all those good things as part of enjoying their turn into the month of September. So I just wanted to point that out for those that are new to our group.
Thank you, June. And at the end, I really want to thank our Toastmaster of the day, Sonia, and our General Evaluator team for making this meeting fantastic. Everybody, big round of applause for both of our members here. And I wish you a wonderful day from there on, and we'll meet again on our next meeting. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.